Before we get into the video, do not forget to like, comment and subscribe. Damn, that's all I can say. This is just getting lawless now. So a man and two police officers suffered stab wounds in the Wood Green area of London. Now the victim, a 61-year-old social worker whom attempted to gain access to a property in Noel Park Road, Wood Green, was denied entry by some stupid residents, despite the fact that his only intention was to check on the welfare of two young children. Now, after he was denied entry, protocol was to call the police. So, he called the police and the police were called to the same property in Noel Park Road just before 8 p.m. Now, once the police arrived, they helped the 61-year-old social worker gain entry into the communal area of the building. And, for all intents and purposes, he was then approached by some stupid idiot and a retard who then decided to let out some unresolved aggression. The knifeman stabbed the 61-year-old social worker, who is employed by Haringey Council, several times. Now, when you stab someone, it's not a spontaneous action. As to say, you can't stab someone and say, oops, it was an accident, let's do a redo over. It's a deliberate action. You can't take it back once you do it. You make the decision to arm yourself with a knife, and you also make the decision to strike at a person whom is old enough to be your dad. Now, the Metropolitan Police have said a 33-year-old man has been arrested at the scene on suspicion of grievous bodily harm, and currently he remains in custody. Also, two other men at a nearby property have also been arrested in connection with the attack, though at the moment we do not know the nature of their involvement. Now, even though the 61-year-old was stabbed several times, thankfully his condition has not been labelled as life-threatening and he should make a full recovery. As for the two officers who were also injured in the attack, it does not state whether they were stabbed or whether it was just defensive wounds from trying to detain the deranged prick who decided it was a good idea to poke holes in people. Now, with all these incidents taking place on the street, it goes without saying that the police do not have a handle on knife crime. They've got no clue. Everyone and their Uncle Jim and Aunt Sally are capable of carrying knives now. Rather than talk it out, people's first instincts has now become to brandish a knife. Archaic, and the worst part is, people think it's okay to act this way. Just think about what I said for a moment. A social worker was stabbed while performing his duty, and his duty was to make sure that two young vulnerable kids were okay. And you're telling me that's reason enough to stab someone? Why stab a social worker? They are part of the fabric that keeps vulnerable people safe and from slipping through the cracks and being forgotten about. And as for the two vulnerable children, the police have said steps have been taken to ensure that they are in a safe and nurturing environment. All I can say is stay safe.